This is interesting.
The existence of giants here is confirmed.
Yo,
This was written in a letter to the
Giants Row confirmed? What the
French
hell?
Academy of Sciences in 1766 by Dr. Matthew Matty, the Secretary of the British Royal Society. He was referring to the confirmation of giants at the southern end of South America by English explorer John Byron. But reports of giants in this part of the world went back more than 2 centuries. Let's go to raremaps.com and take another look at a map we talked a bit
Well, it's on like old maps, so obviously it's not accurate, right?
about a month ago. This is a 1544 map of the Americas by Sebastian Munster.
They don't
In the
know. They
video
didn't know what the fuck they were drawing, man.
Last month, we covered the Sea of Verrazano and the story behind its discovery. But there are more interesting features on this map. One of
We
which
got 3 episodes left, so I think we're on like episode 22.
are the Latin words Regio Gigantum.
Hold up, 8.5k?
This translates to the region of giants. This map isn't alone. If we search the term giants, depictions of giants in the same region pop up. Giants certainly don't live here today. So, who were these giants, and what happened to them?
I don't think they're giants, man.
The first sightings by Europeans
What
of
is this
these
video?
giants was in 1520 by Ferdinand Magellan and his crew on his circumnavigation of the world. Magellan was killed before making it back to Spain, but his assistant Antonio Pigafetta wrote this. One day we saw a naked man of giant structure on the shore of the port dancing, singing, and throwing dust on his head. When the giant was in the captain general's and our presence, he marveled greatly, and made signs with one finger raised upwards, believing that we had come from the sky. He was so tall that we reached only to his waist, and he was well proportioned. Magellan named these
that's where Titans from Attack on Titan are just chilling, dude, in South America. Like I want to like believe it because it's like cool fantasy, but like it's just like myths, you know, like
giants Patagons. While Pigafetta
The
never
Titans are
explained
real,
Magellan's
true.
reasons for the name, it's been
True
long
and real.
assumed that pata came from a Portuguese and Spanish word to mean foot, though he may have taken the name from a literary figure in a Spanish novel of the early 16th century. Either way, the name eventually stuck, and the region became known as Patagonia, which is interpreted to mean land of the big feet. Magellan allegedly
I don't know,
captured 2
man.
giants to take back to Spain and prove their existence. But like Magellan and the majority of his men, the giants didn't survive the journey, and apparently their remains were disposed of. But it didn't matter if there was
Also,
tangible
this
proof.
is so inaccurate. Like
Spanish accounts began to appear on maps.
then again,
In
who knows? True.
1579, Sir Francis Drake's ship chaplain
Like that is completely not how the South American continent looks like, man. They couldn't even get the European one properly.
Francis Fletcher also wrote about meeting very tall natives on their circumnavigation. Men in height and greatness, so extraordinary
Does this video actually like have some proof though?
that they
Or,
hold
like,
no comparison with any of the sons of men this
He's
day
just saying
in the
this.
world. But he claimed that they were quite a bit shorter than what the Spanish had described. He put the tallest at around 7.5 feet in height. Though shorter, these English reports only seem to confirm the giant's existence. Maybe the English just didn't see the tallest of them. Tall natives and what could be described.
Wait, so he's just going off this map that one person is drawn bigger and the other one is smaller?
Tall natives
Bro.
and what could be described as giants continued to be reported throughout the end of the century. In 1587, English explorer Thomas Cavendish reported giants' footprints in the region, and Cavendish's companion, Anthony Knivet, claimed to have seen living giants that were 13 spans, or 9 feet tall, and a dead body that was even
Imagine they
taller.
were actually true, but they just kind of died off.
Before the turn of the century, 2 Dutch captains wrote about
Sus
encounters
much?
with these giants. One said they were 10 or 11 feet tall, and another 10 to 12 feet, but only what he called the Turiminan tribe were that tall. He stated that the other tribes in the region were of average height. In the 18th
Actually,
century, on-the-ground
Attack on
reports
Titan, dude.
were mixed. Some accounts say that there were in fact giants, while others said that they were taller than Europeans but could not be described as giants.
Could they regen?
And a couple even reported that they were average in height. Patagons continued to be labeled on maps in the 18th century, though their depictions as giants on maps became less common, which can probably be attributed to style changes. But here is one from 1752 with an image drawn outside of the map itself. In 1767,
Dude,
an
what?
account of self. In
I mean, why would you
1767
draw them like that?
In
It's interesting.
1767, an account of British naval captain John Byron
Levi did
was
all the
published.
work.
In it, he confirmed their existence, and alongside it was an image of a family of giants with a member of his crew offering them a biscuit. This account is why Dr. Matthew Matty wrote to the French Academy of Sciences that giants here is confirmed. He went on to write, between 4 and 500
It could be just really tall people, you know.
Patagonians of at least 8 or 9 feet in height have been seen and examined by the company of one of our ships just returned from a voyage around the world. And this letter was published in the London Chronicle for all to see. But soon after, one of France's most prestigious scientific journals published a claim that the British had made the whole thing up to distract from the mercenary purpose of England's ships off the coast of Argentina. And in 1773, another book was published that includes accounts of famous explorers of the day, which included John Byron. It turned out, Byron's before published accounts were nothing more than rumors. Byron officially stated, one of them, who afterwards appeared to be a chief, came towards me. He was of a gigantic stature, and seemed to realize the tales of monsters in a human shape. If I may judge of his height by the proportion of his stature to my own, it could not be much less than 7 feet. In 1767, another British naval officer, Captain Samuel Wallis, took measurements of his own, but instead of estimating, he brought with him a measuring rod to Patagonia. The tallest man he measured was 6 feet 7 inches, but he reported most were between 5 feet 10 inches and 6 feet tall. In a 1770 book, a Jesuit missionary
that's not giants. What?
Named Thomas Faulkner.
Were the medieval people just like 4 feet tall or something?
Who spent almost 40 years amongst the tribes of Patagonia, mentions a chief
6 feet is not a giant.
Feet and some inches tall. And he also states, the Patagonians are a large-bodied people, but I have never heard of that gigantic race which others have mentioned, though I have seen persons of all the different tribes of southern Indians. For most, these 3 accounts put an end to the belief in Patagonian giants. It is now thought that these accounts were describing the Tehuelche Indians, who are native to the Patagonian area of Argentina. At an average height of 6 foot or 1.8 meters at the time, to the average European, the natives would have certainly seemed large. Europeans were only 5'5" or 1.6 meters on average.
Wait.
So the term giants may have been a bit of an exaggeration. If giants did exist in the region, they probably would have been wiped out by disease or genocide. But no archaeological evidence that
we got debated,
has ever been found. Nor was any evidence brought back to Europe, despite
this whole video is just a debate.
Attempts. The most likely explanation for there not being any giant sightings in the modern era, and what started the myth to begin with,
wow, 6 foot tall giants,
was published just 100 years after Magellan's circumnavigation. Sir Francis Drake's nephew wrote,
so no Titans.
Magellan was not altogether deceived in naming them giants,
let's just finish the video
for they generally
anyways.
differ from the common sort of men. But yet they are nothing so monstrous or giant-like as they were reported, there being some Englishmen as tall as the highest of any that we could see. But peradventure the Spaniards did not think that ever any Englishman would come thither to reprove them.
Maybe it was just the Spanish guys.
Thank you, RareMaps.com, for supporting this.
There's no way that average European man was 5 foot. There's no way. There's some debate, man. Thank you for watching this video, and also thank you very much to all of my supporters over at Patreon. If you'd like to see these videos earlier, head on to Patreon. And if you want to see more videos, click the videos here and here for more videos from me.